like doing so is Maybe that'll fix it. Maybe that'll fix it. Yep, there we go. See? A good thing we did that. Let's see. Now I can change this back over to music. And then make sure that let's see. Hold on. All right. That works. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna close it out. Okay. So that should all be set. Um, so I'm loading my main save. I haven't finished the game yet at all. Um, I have spoiled myself quite a bit because I'm impatient. But there are some things that I haven't spoiled myself on. So this is I'm very Seder scummy. I don't do it all the time, but I do it for like when I really care about getting a certain outcome. Uh, but I think right now, I don't know how long I'm gonna play. I'm probably not gonna stream for that long, but I'm going to do a couple of side quests, a couple quick ones, one seemingly long one, and I'm gonna respec a lot of the characters because I would like to optimize a little more. There was a new patch today as well, so that we can edit looks of characters. So I think it might be fun to maybe give this main character an update, maybe, of her hairdo. She's had this same hair for a while, and I feel like over time, maybe she would have started to like put it up or something. I don't know. I might also like respec some. Yeah, I'm gonna respec Will for sure. I'm gonna turn him into a fighter Sorlock, I think it's called. Um, think I'm supposed to give him like 3 levels in fighter and then the rest in sorcerer and warlock. Um, and then I might respec Shadowheart. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm definitely gonna respec what's his name? Oh, I'm sorry. Will's supposed to be not a Sorlock, a Bard Warlock. Back to the blade, obviously. And then I'm gonna respec Minsk because he's a ranger, but he's like melee. And I'm gonna respec Jahira so that she's a fighter druid because I think that makes more sense. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with Halson. I think he's fine the way he is. But let's start with going to camp. I figure we could do the respecking now and then do the quest. So, oh, here's the magic mirror. Oh, that's so cool. Wait, so is Wither's wardrobe next to him? Because I still haven't found that. Withers has like a wardrobe for putting away characters. Dumbwaiter. I've heard that it's like near Shadowheart, but I haven't found it personally. Agony wardrobe. Also, a little weird. I can't summon Scratch anymore. Wonder why. I probably fucked something up. They should totally let you like summon him. Like as a ranger companion, have him be more powered up. That'd be nice. But he's only level 2. I don't see the like magnificent wardrobe. It's not a usable door. It's a fake door. Huh. Okay. I'm gonna try this little magic mirror first. Let's see if I like any other hairdos for her. Also, she has this weird armor that is bugged. And I haven't seen anybody else point it out. What's not doing it? Maybe they fixed it. This is cool. They had a little cinematic. That's adorable. I need to make sure I hear the game. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Oh wow, so you can change your face immediately. That's interesting. I wonder if the armor will freak out. It usually like extends right here. It's really weird. Um Maybe she should have a scar now. think she would have like some scars, right? It's definitely been hit before. I think it would be good storytelling that like if you take the eye from Volo, that like um that you take this scar on. I think that kind of looks good on her. I'd say that now that she's started to like take a little more of the tadpoles. Oh, I gave her white eyeliner. Wow, I'm so smart. Or it's yellow, actually. I made it not super intense at all. I'd say maybe she started to take on like a little bit. That'd be cool if she gets like a haircut. I think this is more what I was thinking when I was thinking about her starting to put up her hair more after having been like traveling a bunch and being in combat. Something like this, because she didn't have bangs before. I would love to think that Karlak would have like braided her hair, you know? It's also this. I remember this is the hairdo I used for her the first time during early access. And then when the full game came out and I found this, I was like, oh, that's perfect. think if I had to pick for her to change her hair. Oh, also, could you imagine, like, for storytelling purposes, you've been traveling for a while, so your character's hair has grown out? That's pretty cool. I wish they had some hairdos that were longer like that. I think if I want to put her hair up as like a storytelling thing, I think either this, show that her hair's grown, or where's that one I found earlier? This one. I think this one actually looks better. I think it would make the most sense. That, like, she didn't cut her hair, but she also just kind of like ran with this. One thing I do want to do is make sure that the white still fits. Like, I need her hair to kind of be like glowy white. I'm not noticing any differences. Maybe it's in the ponytail. Let's see how that looks with her regular hair. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Maybe towards the end I'll have her put her hair back down. But, I think for, like I said, kind of storytelling purposes, I like for her to put her hair up for a bit, just like, you know, oh, we're getting into some shit, let me fucking put my fucking hair up. Kind of like this more. Kind of seems like she's like putting it up really fast. Looks like that looks like what I'm trying to rush up ponytail. I think this works too. I think this also works. kind of like she just like tied it in a couple of knots in the back. I'd like to try this actually. And then, let's see. Maybe... This is what it was before. I think maybe there's also like an argument that like maybe now that she's found Gale, maybe she'll go for makeup that's like a little, because this, I was making this more like her natural lip color. So I think now maybe she'd wear makeup. So I'd like to put something like kind of, I don't know, more indicative of like that she's making a conscious choice about her lip color. Or maybe she just started putting on lip gloss, you know? It's like a little kind of thing. What I think would be cute is if like at least partners in the game would comment on it's already 5 o'clock. I think it would be cool if partners in the game commented if you change your looks. That'd be nice. Alright, let's get to what's it called? Respecking. I mean, I feel like my build for Shadowheart's pretty good, but I've seen that there's this build where you respec and you take 1 level in Wizard. And it's like supposed to be that you do like, because you don't get what's it called? You don't get anything from Dex when it comes to heavy armor. So I saw a thing of like taking out charisma and Dex and putting it all into intelligence, and then like evening out some of these. So I'm gonna see if that works.
Thou walkest alone. On all these harsh nights, thou hast sought no company. Love is no domain of mine, but it is often cited as the purpose of mortal life. Wherefore turns, and thus...
Bitch. But companions can't romance each other.
Fate,
it's kind of weird.
Require a new as.
So we're meant to take cleric. I saw something say light domain, but I think life domain is easier. What I kind of wish is that you could change her thing because she no longer uses like char. Like she's a Selûnite now, you know? Oh, also, I heard that. Not I heard, but like I saw in the patch notes that now, if like everybody levels up and you start like uh doing everything, that. Oh, I forgot to change. I forgot to change her abilities. But that like you can queue it up so that it just like all immediately doesn't. You don't have to click each ally. Okay, abilities. So Dex. And then to do even. Oh, I just can't have higher than a 15. Okay. It's just preparing spells. Should go ahead and do that thing in Wizard. I need somebody with Mage Hand. You want Chromatic Orb. Probably Witch Bolt. Ice Knife. Maybe take Shield. And then Thunderwave. Oh, I'm an idiot. I almost took the wrong shit. I have to look this up again. I have a video that I'm following. Um, wait, wrong one. Where is it? Ah,
So, I think we ought to kick things off with everyone's favorite goth
this is
princess,
D4,
Shadow.
by the way. D&D deep dive. He does a video on optimizing companions for the story. Like not just for being good companions, but also how it would make sense for their personal character arcs.
I think of all the companions, Shadowheart might actually be like, but I guess more specific. Now, depending on how that I think channeling Baldur's Gate at level 1 for our starting class. Yeah, we're starting as cleric, of course. But then, as soon as you meet Withers, I would respec her, if for no other reason than to clean up those terrible starting stats. Make sure that you get her a 16 Wisdom, a 16 Intelligence, and a 14 Constitution.
It's okay. I can fix it.
It's the deal with Larian giving, like, every single companion character a bunch of odd-numbered stats to start off with. It's like they're just begging. As a Tempest Cleric, we both are decent spells in game, and then most important of all, and they're vulnerable to it, right? There are several ways to cause a creature to get wet. Throw a bottle of water. You gotta get pretty close. Here's one potential way around. So let's do a level of Wizard here to get access to Chromatic Orb instead of Sorcerer. Thus, as a Wizard 1, you would get Arcane Recovery, and that's a nice way to get some spell slots back. And then, yes, we get Wizard spells, we get cantrips, level 1 spells. Just make sure to grab Chromatic Orb, which will do, as a level 1 spell, 2d8 lightning damage, or other damage types if we really wanted to. Plus, with lightning, it will cause the ground and the entire puddle of water, if you have one and they're standing in it, to become electrified for a couple of rounds, meaning enemies that touch the area get the electrocuted condition, which deals a little lightning damage to them every round for a couple of rounds. Plus, it'll knock them back when they're first trying to enter the area. So, at this level, if we upcast Chromatic Orb as a second level spell, which we could do thanks to multiclassing 2 full spellcasters together, right? We've got second level spells. If the enemy were wet, and we used Destructive Wrath, we would hit for 48 damage on a single target at level 3. Not bad. Of course, arguably the best reason to take Wizard here is because of this thing that a ton of you have been commenting about in my videos. I kind of feel like it's cheating, so I haven't talked about it thus far. I kind of feel like Larian is going to fix or patch this, but it's worth mentioning. At the time of this recording, at least, if you take a single level of Wizard, then you can permanently learn a Wizard spell from a spell scroll of any level, so long as you have access to spell slots at the appropriate level, right? So, for example, right now we have second level spell slots, but as a Cleric 2, Wizard 1, we don't have any second level spells. Well, if you were to find a spell scroll of, say, Misty Step, you could learn that, since it's a wizard spell, and have permanent access to that spell for the rest of the game. This is definitely not how it works in D&D, and like I say, I'm willing to bet that Larian is going to fix this in a future patch, hopefully not before this video comes out, but if it's working as intended, I mean, keep your eye out for those juicy wizard spell scrolls and get ready to scribe them into your spellbook permanently. Hello, a lightning bolt. Anyway, once we've got Chromatic Orb, let's go back to Cleric, I think. Feel free to get a second level of Wizard to grab a subclass, but I would rather get more and better Cleric spells, plus some good Tempest Cleric options if we're not going to be trying to beeline for Lightning Bolt. So, as a Cleric 3, we get second level Cleric spells. Tempest Clerics get Shatter and Gust of Wind for free, both situationally useful, some nice AoE damage on Shatter, and it's Thunder, so you could double it with Destructive Wrath, but will benefit from Wet. Beyond those free spells, go for the usuals here. Aid for a nice buff and heal, Lesser Restoration for a little cure-all, Spiritual Weapon if you need a weaponized bonus action, not bad. At level 5, we would be a Cleric 4, and that means we get our first feat, and we are absolutely going to bump our Wisdom to 18 to make our spells harder to resist and hit more regularly. At level 6, we would be a Cleric 5, and that means we get Destroy Undead. This causes Turn Undead to also do 4d6 damage in addition to trying to turn them, right? Which is nice. And then we get third level Cleric spells. Now, Tempest Clerics get Sleet Storm for free to make a big ice patch and force casters to make a concentration check, which is nice. But then, best of all, Call Lightning. This spell is typically only available to Druids and Storm Sorcerers and is really fantastic for this build. I think I overlooked it when I was first creating this character, because in D&D it's a good spell, but it's not great. But in Baldur's Gate 3, it's stronger, and we have things like the Wet Condition that doubles lightning damage, so it's a really fantastic spell. It's great for both burst and sustain damage. So the spell requires concentration, and then it calls down a lightning bolt that affects creatures in a pretty small 2 meter or 7 foot radius. It's big enough to hit 2 targets if they're standing somewhat close together, otherwise you're probably just going to be hitting one with it. Now, that initial strike does 3d10 damage, but then, again, so long as you maintain concentration, each round thereafter you can continue to call another lightning bolt down for the same effect by just using your action to do so, not spending any more spell slots. 3d10 damage every turn at the cost of your action and your concentration is situationally decent, but if you can easily get targets wet, and now we're talking 6d10 in an AoE every single round, with a massive wallop of 60 flat damage if you use Destructive Wrath, that's pretty fantastic. Now, in D&D, when you upcast this spell, the initial lightning bolt does an extra d10 of damage for every level above 3rd that you upcast it at, but in Baldur's Gate 3, it continues to do the increased amount of damage every single turn when you upcast it as well. Yeah, this spell is really good in this game, and especially for this build. At level 7, we would be a Cleric 6, and that means we get to use Channel Divinity twice per short rest. And this is one of, if not the biggest advantages that a mostly Tempest Cleric has over, say, a Storm Sorcerer or Tempest Cleric. Being able to use Destructive Wrath twice per combat encounter, assuming you're taking short rests after each fight, right? That's massive burst damage capabilities, especially when we're using a spell like Call Lightning that we only have to use one single spell slot for, right? Tempest Clerics also get Thunderbolt Strike here, which lets us push enemies up to 10 feet when we do lightning and thunder damage. That's a lot of fun. It will be super useful a lot of times in order to keep enemies at bay, or yeet them off cliffs, or maybe back into your electrified water, etc., etc. At level 8, we'd be a Cleric 7, and we get 4th level Cleric spells. Tempest Clerics get Ice Storm and Freedom of Movement for free. Ice Storm is like Sleet Storm, but it does cold and bludgeoning damage in addition to making a big ice patch on the ground. And Freedom of Movement is a nice concentration-free buff that gets allies out of stun and keeps them from being slowed or restrained or paralyzed. Alright, it is at or about this point in personally would consider respecing Shadowheart into a light cleric, depending on how things go for you, what decisions that you make. But you don't have to, regardless of the decisions that you make, right? And if you don't, sure, at this point, feel free to grab some sorcerer levels so that you can quicken and twin spell. Or go back to wizard to get, I think, the evocation subclass so that you don't have to worry about hurting your allies with your AoE spells. We've probably found a scroll of lightning bolt at this point. Or, sure, even just...
But we didn't get... There's a spell we don't get, right? If we don't have level 6? Or, no, wait. Revivify is level 6, isn't it? Oh, Revivify is level 3. What do we not get if we don't take level 6? Like, if we don't get level 6 spells? I did this wrong. I did this wrong. Gotta try again. She does not have a lot of health. She has 100. If I kept her as just a cleric, she would have 111. So she's supposed to have Constitution. Okay. 14 Constitution and 16 Intelligence. That would mean she has an 11 in Strength. 10 in Strength? Or do I have to give her this? So she has a 12 in Strength. Okay. And then she has to choose Light Domain. I usually have her as like super healer. Like she is a fucking healer. So this is gonna be different. Okay, so she needs guidance. Does not she doesn't get produce water yet? Gray water? Okay, whatever. Resistance, Blade Ward. Okay. I'm listening to him.
I'd love to, thanks.
Okay, and then, he has a thing for Karlak in here. Which I remember hearing and I was like, that's pretty cool. So, I'm gonna change Karlak as well. Wait, can I make them talk? Nope.
I wasn't expecting it, but I'm...
What's the story? Hey.
Ah, I shall be here in thy camp as the...
Okay. So, from what I understand, I should have waited. I'm a dumb little Okay, let's even these out. We're gonna need lots of Constitution. I don't think we need Wisdom. I think he said she needs Charisma. Because I think she's supposed to be a pally. I think this is what it's supposed to be. Okay. And then is she encumbered? Oh, because I haven't increased her strength yet.
Hero at heart.
I will.
Move ahead.
And then Will has to do a new thing as well.
I shall be here in thy camp as thou...
So I can't remember if you're supposed to start. I think you only start Bard if you like need him for certain checks. I think otherwise starting Warlock is okay. He's supposed to be a Bard Warlock. And he's like, this is still fine. Uh, that's supposed to be fine. And then his abilities. He already has a high charisma. I think we even out the dex. I think we could go +2 on dex, +1 on charisma. And then like that. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, so she does have Greater Destroy Water. And she's a light cleric. Yeah. I don't worry about lesser restoration now, but I probably should have it.
Stick with cleric. Pick up more and better cleric spells and features. Any of those options are good.
So he wants 2 levels in Wizard. And we're gonna go Evocation. Okay. We already have Burning Hands. I believe he said Witch Bolt, Chromatic Orb, Fog Cloud, Reese, Shield might help. Probably Thunderwave. And then prepared spells. We want Chromatic Orb. Fog Cloud. Thunderwave. The shield. Then we do one more level in Wizard. We do Evocation. And he said that allies automatically succeed saving throws. Okay. So then I'll have her pick up. Because this is until long rest. I'll have her do Ice Knife and Long Strider. I feel like it's useful. And then prepare, I'll go Ice Knife. And then we're supposed to go back to Cleric.
Where I personally would consider respecting Shadowheart into a light cleric, depending on how things go for you, what decisions that you make. But you don't have to, regardless of the decisions that you make, right? And if you don't, sure, at this point, feel free to grab some sorcerer levels so that you can quicken and twin spell. Or go back to wizard to get, I think, the evocation subclass so that you... That's a lot of fun. It will... But if you can easily get targets wet... So, the spell requires concentration. 18 to make our...
Wisdom 18.
It's harder to resist if hit regularly. For level 6, we would be a cleric 5, and that means we get destroy undead. This causes turn undead to also do 4d6 damage in addition to trying to turn them, right? Which is nice. And then we get 3rd level cleric spells. Now, Tempest clerics get Sleet Storm for free to make a big ice patch and force casters to make a concentration check, which is nice. But then, best of all, Call Lightning. This spell is typically only available to druids and storm sorcerers and is really fantastic for this build. I think I overlooked it when I was first creating this character, because in D&D it's a good spell, but it's not great. But in Baldur's Gate 3, it's stronger, and we have things like the wet condition that doubles lightning damage, so it's a really fantastic spell. It's great for both burst and sustained damage. So the spell requires concentration, and then it calls down a lightning bolt that affects creatures in a pretty small. Each round thereafter, you can continue to call another lightning bolt down for the same effect by just using your action to do so, not spending any more spell slots. 3d10 damage every turn at the cost of your action and your concentration is situationally decent, but if you can easily get targets wet, and now we're talking 6d10 in an AoE every single round, with a massive wallop of 60 flat damage if you use Destructive Wrath, that's pretty fantastic. Now, in D&D, when you upcast this spell, the initial lightning bolt does an extra d10 of damage for every level above 3rd that you upcast it at, but in Baldur's Gate 3, it continues to do the increased amount of damage every single turn you upcast it as well. Yeah, this spell is really good in this game, and especially for this build. At level 7, we would be a Cleric 6, and that means we get to use Channel Divinity twice per short rest. And this is one of, if not the biggest advantages that a mostly Tempest Cleric has over, say, a Storm Sorcerer or Tempest Cleric. Being able to use Destructive Wrath twice per combat encounter, assuming you're taking short rests after each fight, right? That's massive burst damage capability, especially when we're using a spell like Call Lightning that we only have to use one single spell slot for, right? Tempest Clerics also get Thunderbolt Strike here, which lets us push enemies up to 10 feet when we do lightning or thunder damage. That's a lot of fun. It will be super useful a lot of times in order to keep enemies at bay, or yeet them off cliffs, or maybe back into your electrified water, etc., etc. At level 8, we'd be a Cleric 7, and we get 4th level Cleric spells. Tempest Clerics get Ice Storm and Freedom of Movement for free. Ice Storm is like Sleet Storm, but it does cold and bludgeoning damage in addition to making a big ice patch on the ground. And Freedom of Movement is a nice concentration-free buff that gets allies out of stun and keeps them from being slowed or restrained or paralyzed. Alright, it is at or about this point in the game where I personally would consider respeccing Shadowheart into a Light Cleric, depending on how things go for you, what decisions that you make. But you don't have to, regardless of the decisions that you make, right? And if you don't, sure, at this point, feel free to grab some sorcerer levels so that you can quicken and twin spell. Or go back to wizard to get, I think, the evocation subclass so that you don't have to worry about hurting your allies with your AoE spells. You've probably found a scroll of lightning bolt at this point. Or, sure, even just stick with cleric to pick up more and better cleric spells and features. Any of those options are good ones. And regardless, we're going to love playing this version of Shadowheart. I've respect her to this build in my game, and it is so fun. Alright, on to the second build for the week.
Okay, he didn't talk about what to do with the last feat. She only gets 2. Which is why I've considered mods. I'm thinking about it, trust me. So I could either max out her wisdom or max out her constitution. Not max out, but like add constitution so she has more health. I've heard about giving her Warcaster before. I think Constitution's probably pretty important, especially for Spirit Guardians. So I'm gonna give her more Constitution. And I think that's how we'll do that. And then it depends. What's this? Whoa, that's cool. I see why. I see why, like, this is kind of important. That's pretty fucking. Take away inflict wounds, add produce water. That's Sunny. Sorry, I just heard my dog. We haven't used Glyph of Warding in a while. Mass Cure Wounds is useful. We could take away... that do... See, here's the thing. I've heard, like, that some people don't use, Revivify in their thing. But for the times that, like, it wasn't going to... Like, it was just that I needed to res somebody, and I think I didn't have any scrolls on hand for some reason. I know I have a lot, but, like, for some reason I didn't have any. So, I had Revivify on her, and I was happy that I did. Okay, this is the last cleric level. Land 97 health. Flame like radiance. Shit ever fucking, like, hits. And she gets another slot, right? I use that. Right, that's our new Shadow Heart. Okay, now he's gonna talk about Karlach.
Karlach. It's too bad Larian didn't give her a little more story, right? Because her personality is just the best. She's so awesome. And I think for her star to earn brightest, unintended, we need to just channel her inner berserker barbarian and let her wreck stuff. And so, to that end, this is what I would consider to be the ultimate Karlach barbarian build. Level 1, starting class barbarian, then let's respec those ability scores to a 17 strength, a 16 constitution, and a 14.
Idiot. 14 dex? I thought he wanted her to have charisma. Shit. Hold on.
Thou walkest alone. Love is no, and thou.
Hey ho. Lend an ear.
Okay. She can't carry everything.
Thou walkest alone. Love is no, and dost thou require an as
Okay, he says 17 strength. "16 in Constitution, 14 in Dex."
Dexterity. For equipment here, we're going to be looking for thrown weapons, medium armor, and any equipment that adds damage to thrown weapon attacks. Because yes, we are making Karlach a raging thrower, and it's going to be glorious.
Ooh.
So, as a Barbarian 1, we are going to get Rage, which we can use twice per day for now, as a bonus action, to get an extra 2 damage on melee, improvised weapons, and thrown weapon attacks. Very nice. We also get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage while raging, and as I'm so fond of saying, that is most of the damage that we will be taking in-game, so that's wonderful. Just keep in mind that the big drawback to Rage is that we can't concentrate on or cast spells while raging, right? No worries, we don't need them. We do also get unarmored defense at this level as well, which lets our armor class be equal to 10 plus our dexterity modifier plus our constitution modifier, but most of the time that's still going to be a lower armor class than if we just had some good medium armor. So until you find some really stellar, like barbarian specific non-armor armor, just go with regular armor. At level 2, we get danger sense, which basically gives us advantage on dexterity saving throws. And then we get what is, in my mind, the Barbarian's best feature, Reckless Attack, which just straight up lets us have advantage on our attacks at the cost of giving enemies advantage on their attacks against us. It's totally worth it, especially if and when we're raging, so we'll have resistance to most of the damage that we're taking anyways. Now, here's the tricky thing about Reckless Attack on this build. It's only supposed to work on melee attacks, unlike in D&D when it's on strength-based attacks, and thrown weapon attacks are not considered melee attacks, right? However, currently in the game, if you make your first attack on the round with Reckless Attack turned on, then all the rest of your attacks that round will still have advantage, even if you're throwing stuff. That's going to be really useful on particularly hard-to-hit enemies especially, but we are shortly going to have such a huge buff to our hit chance that I'm not going to miss advantage quite as much on this character as I do on other builds. If you decide that you don't want to, like, make a melee attack first and then start throwing. At level 3, first up we get a 3rd rage charge per long rest, and that's actually
There's
a
a
pretty
mosquito
big
in my
rest range.
room.
Just about every fight, if we're short resting after each combat and then long resting after 3 fights or so, which is kind of the norm for me. It seems to be what most people are doing based on what I'm hearing and seeing. But then, yes, barbarians get their subclass at this level, and yes, we are totally going with Berserker. Super fitting for a hot-headed, barely keeping it under control sometimes, frenzied fire goddess. Ooh, is it getting hot in here, or is it just me? So, Berserkers don't get just regular rage, but frenzied rage, which tells us that, when raging, we can make an improvised weapon attack with a bonus action, which is nice, actually, but then also we have access to 2 new abilities. Frenzied Strike, which lets us make an additional attack each round with our bonus action. That's great, but it comes with a pretty hefty price tag of giving us a stack of Frenzied Strain. Frenzied Strain gives us a -1 to hit for each stack of it that we have on us, and those stacks don't go away until we stop raging. So yes, we're going to want to use this with caution, as it can quickly get our hit chance down to an unacceptable level in a long fight. The other new ability that we get is our bread and butter ability for this build, Raged Throw. This tells us that we can basically use a bonus action to throw stuff. That can mean something lying around nearby or something already in your inventory that we have equipped. It can even be an enemy standing nearby that you can pick up and throw. But there are some additional benefits here. If we hit our target with Enraged Throw, they have to make a strength save or they're knocked prone. That's awesome. But also, at least currently, it's adding our strength modifier twice to the damage if we're throwing an actual thrown weapon. I'm assuming this is a bug, but either way, it's a big damage bump, and it makes using thrown weapons here a really great idea. So stack up on javelins, hand axes, and daggers, or, better yet, find the returning spear that's for sale early on in the game.
I never found that.
Camp. That will just return to you automatically every time you throw it.
Never
One
found
other
it.
thing that may or may not be a bug within Raged Throw. Currently, using it also adds a stack of Frenzied Strain, though the tooltip in the game doesn't say that it will. What's worse, if you pick up another creature and use them to throw at the enemy, something that's both potent and hilarious, as it does damage to both the one you're throwing and the target you throw them at, and can knock both of them prone. But when you do that, it actually puts 2 stacks of Frenzied Strain on you. So I would only do that with Enraged Throw if you had like one enemy that only had a hit point or two left and you wanted to kill them by throwing them and do some damage to the enemy that you're throwing them at, yeah. But at level 4, we get our first feat, and yeah, the thing that really makes this build shine is that Tavern Brawler feat that we would take here. This feat is arguably the most overpowered feat in the game, bumping our strength by 1 to a nice even 18, and then is that when we make an unarmed strike, an improvised weapon.
Okay. Now I'm like, I don't know. But I saw another one of his videos where he talked about a Pallybarb. And I feel like Karlach makes a really good Pallybarb. Just because, like, she just makes a really good Pallybarb. So I think I want to do that instead. Okay. Just fucking cancel respec. I'm gonna cancel the respec and then I'll do her after. I'll do Will next instead.
Alright, for our final companion of part 1, we are going to dive into Will. I know, all wanted a Starion. Too bad. You're gonna have to wait until part 2 for your favorite trampy vamp. I can't put all of the favorites in part 1. Part 2 is not gonna get as many views as is. Part 2 of 2-parters never do. Right, so, Will. Honestly, I think Will might be the easiest of all the companions to do a super awesome and optimized build for that is 100% on point for him thematically. Everything we need to know is in his moniker, the Blade of the Frontier. So, at level 1, yes, Will starts out as a warlock, and of course we're keeping him that way, but then we're going to make sure to respec his ability scores to a 16 charisma, a 16 constitution, and a 14 dexterity. As for equipment, just look for the best rapier that you can get, a shield, and the best...
My fucking bad, guys. I'm horrible. I'm so bad.
Fate, dost thou require a new ally?
Son of a bitch. Okay. So he wants a 16 in Constitution. 14 in Dex.
His ability scores to a 16 charisma, 16 constitution, and a 14 dex.
Okay, I thought he would want it all in Dex because of the rapier, but I was wrong. Okay. His skill proficiencies are so whack. I need him to have, yeah, okay, Arcana's fine, but I need him to have investigation. He doesn't need persuasion, he needs, perception. I think that's better. Just, it would help. It would help.
As for equipment, just look for the best rapier that you can get, a shield, and the best light armor you can find, though we will be swapping that out for medium later on. Warlocks get their subclass right at level 1, and there's no need for us to change Will from Fiend. Minor early spoiler warning, it wouldn't make much sense for us if we did anyway, since his patron is, well, the devil, or half-devil anyways. As a Fiend, then, Will get Dark One's Blessing, which gives temporary hit points whenever we kill a creature, not bad. And then as for Warlock spells that we get here, Fiends get Burning Hands and Command for free. Both situationally useful, but beyond that I'd make sure to grab Eldritch Blast, that best offensive cantrip in the game Warlock staple, as well as Hex for a little extra damage on your target when you hit them with either a weapon attack or a spell like Eldritch Blast. It's perfect for us. At level 2, we get Eldritch Invocations, and there are 2 must-have invocations for this build. Agonizing Blast is going to add our Charisma modifier to the damage of each beam of Eldritch Blast that we fire, and remember, it starts firing 2 beams at character level 5 and then 3 at level 11. And Devil's Sight is going to let us see in magical darkness. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? At level 3, Warlocks get their Pact Boon, and we absolutely have to go with Pact of the Blade. Let's make Will actually represent his nickname, right? Pact of the Blade is fantastic in BG3. It lets us either bond our equipped weapon as a pact weapon, or lets us summon a magical pact weapon of our choice. And afterwards, if we make attacks with that pact weapon, we can use our spellcasting modifier both to hit and damage. I love being sad, single ability score dependent. So now we can just focus on our charisma and have it benefit both our spells and our weapon attacks. Hooray! Also, importantly, at 3rd level we get 2nd level Warlock spells, and that means that we can get, among other great options, the Darkness spell. Now, in my very first BG3 video, over here, I talked about how this wasn't working properly in early access, but whether it was or not, they fixed it for final release, and I love it. Darkness is both stronger and weaker in BG3 than it is in D&D. On the one hand, in Baldur's Gate, you can't cast it on an object, only on the ground, meaning that you can't, like, cast it on your weapon and then have the darkness move around with you. But, just like in D&D, in Baldur's Gate 3, if you have Devil's Sight and are inside that darkness, then your enemy can't see you, but you can see them. So you've got advantage on attacks against them, and they have disadvantage on attacks against you. This is fantastic, but what's even better is that if you're in the darkness, and an enemy outside of it is trying to attack you with a ranged attack, the attack just straight up fails. Like, there's not even an attack roll made. It's as though the thick darkness is impenetrable to missiles. They just bounce off. Doesn't work that way in D&D, but it's great for this game. Now, the area of darkness itself is smaller in BG3 than it is in D&D, but I actually focus on your first target, and then on targets inside of the darkness are dead. It makes Will to benefit pretty much everything we do. Now, alternatively, we could do something like, say, take the Great Weapon Master feature and then make our pact weapon a great sword or something, and enjoy that plus 10 to damage at the expense of a minus 5 to hit. If you're using darkness and getting advantage, it's not a bad idea. The big problem with going that route, I think, is that, again, darkness doesn't travel with you. So after the enemies inside it are dead, you can have a much tougher time hitting your enemies, unless you're getting advantage from some other source. If you are, and you'd prefer to make Will more blade than caster, go for it. For me, I think I'd keep it simple here and just leave him in that darkness. It's just a lot of fun conceptually to run in, make melee attacks against enemies inside that darkness, and then just stay there firing out beams from within. At level 5, in Baldur's Gate 3, Warlocks get Deepened Pact, which strengthens our Pact boon. And gloriously, in BG3, that means our Pact of the Blade grants us extra attack. That's perfect. We also get a 3rd invocation at this level, and I think I'd probably go with Repelling Blast here, so that my Eldritch Blast can knock enemies back 10 feet. You don't always need that turned on, but you can toggle it on and off, and having the option to knock back is super fantastic when you've got great reason to be pushing your targets off of things or into things, or if nothing else, away from you or a squishy ally. And we love Warlock level 5 because we also get 3rd level spells here now, and Fiends get both Stinking Cloud and the Illustrious Fireball as options for some nice AoE damage. But you could also grab a strong control option like Fear or Hypnotic Pattern. I think I'd be sure to grab Hunger of Hadar, as it's unique to Warlocks and it makes a big 20-foot radius of blackness on the battlefield that does damage and blinds enemies inside and causes the ground to be difficult to terrain, so it's just a nice way to make a bunch of enemies miserable if you can get it on them. But at level 6, it's time to leave Warlock behind, because, you see, there's more to being the Blade of the Frontier than just killing things with sword and spell. Any old adventurer can do that. What makes the Blade is the stories that grow up around this folk hero. right? And what class excels at embellishing grand stories that the common folk can look to and receive inspiration from? Bard, of course. So yes, we're taking Bard levels here, and honestly, I feel like doing so is way more on point thematically for Will than just staying straight Warlock. I mean, come on. Look at the way he's always trying to like charm and sweet talk your other party members during those like passive conversations that they have with each other, right? As you're running around the world. The guy is probably more Bard than Warlock. He just accidentally got trapped into a raw deal with the devil. Anyway, as a Bard 1, then we get first up Bardic Inspiration. This lets us 3 times per long rest, as opposed to Charisma modifier times per long rest in D&D, use a bonus action to inspire our allies. They then have a d6 that they can add to an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw of their choice in the next 10 minutes. It's a fantastic support ability that makes everyone better. We do get Bard spells here as well, and I'm just gonna say pick your favorite. Vicious Mockery, unique to Bards, is a fun cantrip to do a little damage and cause an enemy to have disadvantage on their next attack roll if they fail their save against it. It's worth using once in a while, if for no other reason than just to see the awesome lines of dialogue that get shouted out when you cast it. They're hilarious. I'd probably grab Healing Word for some emergency healing, maybe Fairy Fire to give you advantage outside of your darkness, especially if you went the Great Weapon Master route, but yeah, nothing otherwise that I'm going to plan on using regularly in combat, so PYF. At level 7, we'd be a Bard 2, and that means we get a Song of Rest, which is way better in BG3 than D&D, as it just straight up gives us a 3rd short rest per day, which is always handy. We also get Jack of all Trades, which is just such a great feature, especially for like our main PC character, I think, since it just adds half of our proficiency bonus when we're making a check with an ability that we're not proficient in. At level 8, we would be a Bard 3, and that means we get our Bard subclass, our College. And as the Blade of the Frontier, of course we're going with College of Swords. We can't but go with College of Swords here, and it's a fantastic subclass. First of all, it gives us medium armor proficiency, so go ahead and grab your favorite medium armor now. And we also get a fighting style, but there are only 2 options available to Swords Bards, dueling and 2-weapon fighting. Since our packed weapon can only apply to a single weapon at a time, we're going to be sticking with a single rapier here, and so we'll take the dueling fighting style, giving us an extra 2 damage with each hit that we make with that rapier. Nothing crazy, but a nice little bump. More importantly, we get Blade Flourish at this level, which functions kind of like Battlemaster maneuvers. We essentially get to spend a use of our Bardic Inspiration now if we wanted to, not to inspire our allies, but to enhance our weapon attacks in one of 3 ways. These are quite a bit different than they are in D&D. Defensive Flourish is nice, it makes a weapon attack, but then if it hits, it both adds your Bardic Inspiration die in damage, and then increases your armor class by just a flat 4 until your next turn. It's not bad, but it does have to hit or you get no AC bump. Mobile Flourish pushes your target not 5, but a whopping 20 feet away if it hits. That's
Okay. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back, but no camera right now. Okay. I'm gonna continue trying to listen to this and see.
Crazy. And
Let's
after
do
you
them.
push them, it lets you just teleport to them without having to spend a reaction or a bonus action or anything. Slashing Flourish maybe got the biggest bump from its D&D counterpart. It just acts like a full cleave. It lets you do damage to 2 separate targets. Now, here's the thing. Like in D&D, in BG3 you can use these flourishes on ranged weapons, but here, since it just, lets you make 2 attacks against enemies within range, if you're using a ranged weapon, you could just target any second enemy that's within range of your ranged weapon. They don't have to be standing next to each other. And yeah, I mean, if you have the sharpshooter feat, that's kind of crazy. Feels a little broken, but maybe it's working as intended. If so, I'm sure I will have a ranged swords bard built out before too long. We also get second level bard spells here, and while there are a ton of great ones, Cloud of Daggers, Hold Person, Crown of Madness, Lesser Restoration, Visibility, there's nothing I'm necessarily planning on using during combat, sticking probably with Darkness or Hex for concentration, depending on how hard our enemies are to hit, so go ahead and pick your favorite. At level 9, we would be a Bard 4, and yeah, I think it best if we just bump that Charisma up to 20 here to make both our weapon attacks and our spells more potent. If you went Great Weapon Master last time, you might want to consider taking Full Arm Master here once they fix the feat, at least, so that you can make a Great Weapon Master infused bonus action attack with the butt of the polearm, right? It leaves us with a 16 charisma all this time if we went that route, so I'd probably advise against it unless you've got some gear that's increasing your charisma or at least your hit chance significantly. But yeah, at the time of this recording, Polearm Master's broken. It doesn't apply the extra damage from Great Weapon Master, even though you're using that same two-handed weapon to make the attack. It really should. I hope Larian fixes it. If not, it's not a great feat for this build. At level 10, it would be a Bard 5, and that means we get improved Bardic Inspiration. This tells us that our Bardic Inspiration is now a 8 instead of a d6, nice little bump, and we also now get 4 of them for rest instead of 3. But better yet, we get Font of Inspiration, which resets those Bardic Inspirations on a short rest now, meaning lots more flourishes, among other things, and that is wunderbar. But yeah, this is the level that just keeps on giving, because we also get 3rd level Bard spells here. Hypnotic Pattern and Fear are probably the best options for some strong control if you didn't grab them as a Warlock, and the nice thing about pairing Bard and Warlock here, of course, is that both use Charisma as their spellcasting stat, right? So our Bard spells are going to benefit from that Charisma just as much as our Warlock spells do. Anyway, pick your favorites here, take the ones you think are best. And then at level 11, we would be a Bard 6, and that means as a Swords Bard, we finally get extra attack. Wait a second, we already had an extra attack from Pact of the Blade, right? That's correct, we did. But, again, as of this recording at least, extra attack from Pact of the Blade actually stacks with extra attack from other sources. So, maybe it'll be patched out soon, maybe by the time this video comes out. But if not, enjoy lots of attacks on your turn now, with 3 attacks when you use your attack action. Speaking of 3 attacks, at the exact same time, level 11 here, Eldritch Blast will now fire 3 beams. So regardless of whether you're making weapon attacks or beam attacks, you get 3 of them for your action. So good. For level 12, just pick your favorite class. I mean, you could go back to Warlock to get Dark One's own luck feature from Team Warlocks, which just lets you add a d10 to an ability check once per short rest. Not bad from a utility perspective, but Bard 7 would get us 4th level Bard spells, and I think that's the better route here. That said, I'm not necessarily dying to have any of those 4th level Bard spells, though they're all useful. Greater invisibility is worse than it should be, unfortunately, since it forces you to make an increasingly difficult stealth check every time you cast a spell or make an attack while you're invisible, instead of just straight up letting you stay invisible. So yeah, if you're looking for advantage, just stay in your darkness. Dimension Door, though, is a great way for a big teleport for you and a friend, always nice to have in your back pocket. Polymorph does not let you turn your best friend into a T-Rex, like it does in D&D, but it still can make your enemy a sheep. Wait, what is this, World of Warcraft? Anyway, pick your favorite 4th level spell. And that is it for the Blade of the Frontier. Going this route makes Will a fantastic Gish, I think. So if you love Gishes, feel free to use this on your own character as well. I'm confident that you'll love it. If you want to build a really powerful and really fun character for your Baldur's Gate 3 game, or what's going to be awesome. Alright, the first build that I is for those of you who like to carry a big weapon, make yourself hard to kill, and just blow everything to smithereens. We're gonna call them the Holy Warrior, and it is a Paladin Barbarian. So in D&D 5e, Barbarians are one of the most front-loaded classes in-game. With just a few levels in Barbarian, you get a lot of power. The problem with Barbarians is that they notoriously scale maybe as poorly as any class, making it difficult to justify, at least from a mechanics perspective, continuing to take levels in Barbarian after you hit level 5 or so. Paladins, on the other hand, scale better than just about any class in the game, with lots of incentive at each level to continue taking levels in the class. So if you combine just a few levels of Barbarian with a bunch of levels of Paladin, you're going to have a powerhouse of a character that is both an immovable object and an irresistible force on the battlefield. Here's how I would build this character for BG3. First up, at level 1, take the race and background of your choice. I'm going to skip these things for all of these builds. As far as I can tell, they both tend to be more for aesthetic and story purposes than for a lot of mechanical or statistical advantage. There will of course be some exceptions to this, depending on your build, but all of the builds that I go over today should work pretty much equally as well, regardless of your race and your background. So for our starting class, we're gonna start off as a barbarian. Like I say, you're super front-loaded with features as a barbarian, so you may as well grab them early on. For your starting ability scores, make sure that you get to a 16 strength, a 14 constitution, and a 14 dexterity. We'll worry about charisma later. At level 1, as a barbarian, you get to rage as a bonus action.
I'm a fucking idiot.
Fate, dost thou require an...
Damn, it's good to be alive.
I'm wasting so much gold, but it's worth it. That's why I saved up.
Let's go.
I knew I'd be doing this.
Fate spins along as it should. Dost thou require a new ally? Or mayhap as thou desire?
For your starting ability scores, make sure that you get to a 16 strength, a 14 constitution, and a 14 dexterity. We'll worry about charisma later. At level 1, as a barbarian, you get to rage.
Should I just... Didn't say 16 for anything else other than strength.
rage as a bonus action, which is going to let you do more damage for the next minute when you make attacks using your strength, and gives you resistance to all bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. And in case you didn't know, most of the damage that you're going to be taking in the game will come in the form of bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage. Now, you can only rage a couple of times per long rest for now, but that will increase as we gain barbarian levels. And also, with how easy and fairly consequence-free taking a long rest is in Baldur's Gate 3, not to mention short rests, these mechanics, where they're limited to a number of times per rest or whatever, are going to be less of a concern for me in BG3 than they would be in D&D. As for equipment, just equip yourself with the best two-handed weapon and medium armor that you can find. Now, at level 2, you're going to get Reckless Attack, which lets you have advantage on your attacks if you want to give your enemies advantage on their attacks against you. General rule of thumb, use Reckless Attack. You are a raging barbarian with more hit points than any other class. You don't mind getting hit so much. You are here to kill your enemies before they kill you, and advantage is going to go a long way to help you do that, since, in case you didn't know, it means that you roll two 20-sided dice to try and hit, and then you get to use the higher of the two rolls. This is a big statistical advantage. At level 3, we get to pick our barbarian subclass, and the one that I would for sure go with on this build is Berserker. Berserker barbarians get to make an extra weapon attack when they rage with their bonus action, and unlike in D&D, they suffer no penalties for this feature, which makes it incredibly potent. At level 4, you get your first ability score increase or feat, and we're going to take a feat, Great Weapon Master. Among other things, this tells us that when
Here's the thing. I have her using a shield. I gave her like a super high AC. I'm gonna try and see like how this works.
we are using a heavy weapon, which we are, we can choose to take a -5 to hit penalty to do an extra 10 flat damage if we hit. If you do the math, and especially since we're going to have advantage on all of our attacks, this is going to mean a lot more damage for us on average. So take this feat and really leave it on pretty much all of the time, except for maybe against the very hardest to hit foes. You're just going to destroy stuff. At level 5, we get extra attack, meaning we can attack twice when we take the attack action, and since we are a raging, frenzied barbarian, we're going to get 3 attacks every turn when we use our bonus action, which are all going to hit really, really hard. Now, at level 6, we're going to want to start taking Paladin levels. In D&D, you can't multi-class with Paladin unless you have a 13 in both Strength and Charisma. The rumor is that Larian is removing ability score minimum requirements in order to multi-class, and if so, great. Take Paladin here without needing to respec your character. If that rumor turns out to be false, though, we will need to respec our character here. And yeah, in case you didn't know, that's a thing in Baldur's Gate 3. You can respec everything except for your race, as far as we've heard, including even your class, which feels a little crazy for veteran D&D players, but it's a video game. Have fun with it. Even if this rumor does prove to be true and you don't need a high charisma score to be a paladin here, we're eventually going to want a good charisma score anyways, so for us that's probably going to mean changing our stats to a 16 strength, a 14 constitution, and a 14 charisma with just a 12 dexterity. Now sure, this is going to make us a little bit easier to hit, but I mean, we're attacking recklessly. We're getting hit a lot anyways. I care more about our constitution than dexterity since we take half damage most of the time, meaning that every hit point for us is kind of like 2 hit points for most other characters, right? Now in 5e, paladins get their subclass or oath at level 3, but it looks like in BG3 you're going to get it at level 1. I'm going to go ahead and just say pick your favorite here, PYF. None of these oaths are going to significantly alter how we're playing. They'll just give you a Channel Your Oath ability that's going to give you a little heal or a little damage buff for an ally, etc. At level 7, we would be a Paladin 2, and that means we can...
I like this. It's either this or this. Because... Okay, by the way, hold on, sorry. There we go. Okay, so my thought here is that we take I think this one works because what I usually do is I have Karlek run with Karlek and Gale technically are married because I gave them the wedding rings, so that she can cast Gentle Warding Bond on him. And then that way, like, he can take half her, she can take half his damage, basically. I think I'm gonna go Devotion.
Paladin spells. Now, there are some nice spells that paladins get access to, but unfortunately, as a barbarian, when you're raging, you can't cast or concentrate on spells. So I'm just gonna grab stuff here that's handy outside of combat, like Cure Wounds to heal your allies, stuff like that. But you know what you can do with spells as a raging barbarian? That's right, Divine Smite. The other feature that paladins get at level 2. With Divine Smite, when you attack, you can choose to spend a spell slot to do an extra 2d8 of damage, and that increases by a d8 for each spell slot higher than the first that you spend. So 3d8 damage if you later use a second level spell slot, 4d8 for a third level spell slot, etc. Okay, now we're really blowing stuff up. Save those spell slots and those smites for your toughest enemies, and just burst them down. You also get a fighting style at Paladin too, and I would probably take Great Weapon Fighting for a little more damage. It's not much though on average, so defense might be a better option if you want to just be a little bit tankier. But at level 8, I'm definitely going to respec my character. Like I said, barbarians are front-loaded. We really only need 3 levels in the class to get the best stuff. Now that we're level 8, we can change things up to be a Paladin 5, Barbarian 3.
Why did I?
Features at level 4 and 5 as barbarians do.
This is his fault now. Now this is his fault.
Fate, dost thou require a new
The feat and the extra attack. So respecking here is going to let us be further along on our paladin path while not sacrificing really anything. So now that we're at paladin 5, we've picked up second level spells and spell slots. And sure, I guess you could be a better support character when you're not raging with those second level spells.
Okay, so he wants us to go Barb 3. You can keep this. Look at this shit. So we're going Berserker. Oh my god. I'm an idiot. I just did that.
But yeah, we're here for the smites. At level 9, we would be a paladin 6, and that means we get divine protection. And this is probably more powerful than a lot of people new to D&D might realize. It lets you add your charisma modifier to all saving throws for you and all of your allies within, I'm gonna guess, 3 meters, and that will do really great things for you and all of your friends defensively. It's considered one of the strongest abilities in all of D&D 5e by many people, myself included. So from this point on with this character, you're probably going to take a 4th level in Barbarian to get that ability score improvement so you can raise your strength to 18. And from there, just keep going Paladin the rest of the way for better spells, better spell slots, bigger
Defense. Defense. Can't concentrate while raging. We can't pick anything that's concentration here. So we'll go bare bones for out of combat. Get another feat. So this is where we're supposed to take ability improvement or strength. And then I don't have wisdom. Who wants smites? We never got any more smites. Okay, so what was the other thing he said? Just to max out ability?
And I guess 3 meters, and you also get a fighting style at Paladin too, and I would probably take Great Weapon Fighting for a little more damage. It's not much though on average, so defense might be a better option if you want to just be a little bit tankier. But at level 8, I'm definitely going to respec my character. Like I said, barbarians are front-loaded. We really only need 3 levels in the class to get the best stuff. Now that we're level 8, we can change things up to be a Paladin 5, Barbarian 3. Paladins get the same features at level 4 and 5 as Barbarians do, the feat and the extra attack. So respecking here is going to let us be further along on our Paladin path while not sacrificing really anything. So now that we're a Paladin 5, we've picked up 2nd level spells and spell slots. And sure, I guess you could be a better support character when you're not raging with those 2nd level spells, but yeah, we're here for the smites. At level 9, we would be a Paladin 6, and that means we get Divine Protection, and this is probably more powerful than a lot of people new to D&D might realize. It lets you add your Charisma modifier to all saving throws for you and all of your allies within, I'm gonna guess, 3 meters, and that will do really great things for you and all of your friends defensively. It's considered one of the strongest abilities in all of D&D 5e by many people, myself included. So from this point on with this character, you're probably going to take a 4th level in Barbarian to get that ability score improvement so you can raise your strength to 18. And from there, just keep going Paladin the rest of the way for better spells, better spell
What was
slots.
the second feat he said to
from
take?
This, get or D8 for 3rd level spells. Now, it's going to mean we can choose to take a -5 to hit penalty to do an extra 10.
Huh, okay. So I'm either gonna do ability improvement. I mean, strength is already at 18. So I think maybe he meant 20 because he never talked about the second feat. Unless he meant for us to get our charisma up to 16. It's either that or we go into constitution so that we get more health. And I feel like that's pretty needed right now. I'm gonna go constitution. Okay. She cannot carry everything she's holding. That is surprising. So now she can wear, no, she's not. I thought she was proficient with heavy armor. Why does it say she only has 117? It's because I didn't raise her strength. I only gave her all that stuff because I needed her to hold a lot of it. Let me just let me just send that to Juno. And she should be fine. Now Juno's heavily encumbered. Why is it all so heavy? Oh my gosh. You're strong, aren't you? Yeah. And then, I can send that to Juno. She can't hold very much now. But why does it say that she doesn't have the health that she did? She's supposed to be using a great weapon now. But the problem is that she's not a Gith Yankee.
The pride of the gate.
No time to rest. One day I'll catch a break.
Ah. It's either great sword or great axe. I forgot I had these. But I feel smart because I kept them. But that means she doesn't get a shield anymore. She doesn't get this. I need her to keep the hammer just because of what's it called? That axe. Where'd the axe go? Oh, here it is. There we go. Okay, so I think somebody still needs a shield, so I'm gonna have Juno hold on to it. On a hit infused with one of your smites, target must succeed a Constitution saving throw or become dazed. I feel like that might be better than having a great weapon. And then she has a higher AC. This is hard. Oh, I hate this. Okay. I'm going to
No one stopped me yet.
take a. Why are you glowing? Whatever. I'm gonna take a break from this and I'm gonna get Jahira.
Hey, soldier. Sounds boring. Oh,
Can we eat dirt or whatever? Fucking love her. So funny. Jahira. Whoa. Oh. Cool.
Let's see.
We need Jahira. I think I'll ask Will to wait for a sec.
Let's talk. Are you sure?
And then I'll bring Jahira and Minsk and I'll respec them.
What is it, Cub?
I love her.
As you wish.
You will grow to like Jahira's incense in time. Like means.
I love Minsk. Okay. So I'm gonna do. Where are you? Let me talk to you really quick.
What is it, Cub? Ah. You've wandered far in my absence. And now you come to march me to the gallows, is it?
What's wrong?
Come on, then. Likely you have some pointed questions. But you shall have to get in line behind my dear, dear daughter.
She sounds upset. I need to see what's going on.
what a surprise.
Ah, Mahler's mark, an ambush.
What is going on?
Are we quite sure she hasn't actually died this time, brother? She looks dead.
Why is it so slow? Oh.
Smells it too. Ooh.
It has been a hard road. But I can clip you both around the ear to prove I am no ghost. If it would help.
Forgive us, Mother. We're just surprised you still know how to find your way home.
Okay, we need to reload the game. I'm thinking actually that I'll reload my save at some point just to like redo all of that respecking, so that I'm not wasting a bunch of gold. Give me a sec. And close the game really quick because that was a lot. I don't know why that started happening. I think I've seen that like sometimes there's a memory leak when you're like in the respec page a bunch. I think that's what was happening. I have lots of RAM. Know what I mean? How long have I been live? 2 hours. Okay. I probably won't go much longer. Especially, like, just in case this is not going well. Let's see.
It has been a hard road. But I can clip you both around the ear to prove I am no ghost. If it would help.
Forgive us, Mother. We're just surprised you still know how to find your way home.
Is it just this scene?
Ryan.
Ascending sending spell can carry 25 words. Do you know how many Jaheira's only message contained in all this time she's been away? 7.
I think Juno would say that this isn't her business, but I think she's also more interested because Jaheira and her are like close.
The message went, I'm sorry, you know what to do.
So why haven't you done it? You were supposed to get the young ones out of the city.
Why not say that?
And you were supposed to be dead. That's what your oh-so-stoic message meant, yes? Yet here you are. So, what happened out there?
I got my skin saved by this one. We've come to take the fight to the cult, which is exactly why you all cannot be here.
Why? You plan on winning, don't you? You're the one who saved us, so tell me. Are we all doomed? So fight. That's what all you heroes and harpers are for, isn't it?
You are a very irritating girl.
You gave birth.
This isn't your house, remember? You'll keep a civil tongue under our roof if we let you stay at all.
Have mercy, sister. She's old after all.
So old! Seems I'm outvoted. See, Mother? That is how you go about talking things through with your family. Now, if there's more to discuss, then bloody well come in. And wipe your boots.
I'm gonna have to turn some shit down.
Coming along nicely there, Floki.
I think. I'm gonna do a frame rate cap. That may fix things. Okay, yeah. Where's Jaheira?
Another step forward.
Been just guzzling the water recently.
What the fuck?
Shake off the dust.
How did you get up there?
spell that ends.
Jahira!
Your 11 end is this one. Worry about the next one when it
Why would you?
No arguing. Just tell me you're well.
I am well.
And Minsk?
Boo is also very well. And happy to see you, Ryan.
And I him. Enough that I'll let him keep his lumbering, sweaty steed inside. So, this cult. What's our plan?
I'm not fool enough to think I can change your mind. But if you're staying, I don't want you taking up arms. There are other ways to fight.
Really? Like what? A fair point. Though I'll leave the herb lore to Jord. I was always better at breaking bones than mending them.
I remember. The very reason George had so many patients to hone his craft on.
If I have to stay home and babysit, then it's your job to make sure there's still a home to look after. Take what you need, and we'll do the grand reunion when you come back for good. So, lovely as it is to have you back, Mother, go away. You have work to do.
Aye, aye, Commander. Wait, one more thing. There are doppelgangers on our trail. One even went so far as to steal my face.
Huh. All right then. If you turn up looking for hugs and kisses, I'll be sure to shoot first.
That's my girl.
I tried disabling my camera, seeing if that'll help.
It's peaceful, isn't it? The only moment you're living in is this one. Worry about the next one.
Like, it's not just the stream, it's the game, which is so weird. I'm not used to this. I heard that they did this thing where they, like, deactivated a bunch of NPCs if you weren't close by. But, like... That's true, then why is it so slow?
You will be once order is restored.
It's weird. I'm gonna try reloading that save, see if it helps. Because we weren't having this issue before. This is why I record. I stopped doing this kind of thing in favor of recording. When I record, I never have dropped frames. I think it's only happened once. OBS usually doesn't take up many resources. I can play it on like my highest settings. But, oh well.
How much further can I go?
All's well, I hope, aside from the obvious.
Thirst in my heart. Soldier? Really? Oh.
Let's talk. Are you sure? And
What is it, Cub? As you wish.
come to speak? Means
What is it, Cub? Ask it. Still? The Undercity? We try to work towards a common balance. It is easy, and for it, so if I try. But you're staring. Ha! No. No, thank you. Let the wiser members of my order wrinkle their brows over that particular phrase. In all my years fighting for the Harpers, I am still never certain what the greater good means. I've learned to be content with, well, that was not so bad as it might have been. Ah. Come on, then.
Why does it make me carry their stuff? It's weird. Okay. Let's see if now it's better.
something over there.
Whatever it takes. I go where I'm told.
Think so? That's because there's nothing.
Is there a way to get down?
Something over there.
Do you have Featherfall? Anybody have Featherfall?
As I'm told.
You will be. My shop's pilfered every day by rust.
Now it immediately started lagging.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times. Here we go.
Breeze must be blowing inland today, bringing in the stench of the foundry. Belching smoke and metal screeches.
Maybe it'll be better now.
Mark, here we go.
Are we quite sure she hasn't actually died this time, brother? She looks dead.
Smells it too. Ooh.
It has been a hard road, but I can clip you both around the ear to prove I am no ghost, if it would help.
Forgive us, Mother. We're just surprised you still know how to find your way home.
I think it's all of the reflections.
Some battles, even Pooh is not brave enough.
Ryan.
Ascending spell can carry 25 words. Do you know how many Jaheira's only message contained? In all this time she's been away.
Hopping in to ask, cannot say because of spoilers. Were you on Twitch when you streamed Rainbow Siege Sims 4? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I used to do that a lot, but I just haven't in a while. Yeah, sorry about the spoilers. This is the save I wanted to play today because I wanted to respec a bunch of characters. Thanks for stopping by though.
The message went, I'm sorry, you know what to do.
So why haven't you done it? You were supposed to get the young ones
This is
out
hella
of the city.
lagging. Why is it lagging so much? This is the only time I've seen
supposed to
this.
be dead.
Like,
That's what
especially
your
during,
unsafe
like,
stolen
using
message
OBS.
meant, yes? Yet here you are. So,
I think it's all the
what
reflections.
happened out there?
Maybe if I turn off God rays.
I got my skin saved by this one. We've
Me.
come to fight to the cult, which is exactly why you all cannot be here.
Why? You plan on winning, don't you? You're the one who saved us, so tell me. Are we all doomed?
I mean... I could just say, we're all gonna die. But I feel like that's not good to say.
So fight. That's what all you heroes and harpers are for, isn't it?
You are a very irritating girl.
This isn't your house, remember? You'll keep a civil tongue under our roof if we let you stay at all.
I don't think I need to...
Have mercy, sis.
Now, if...
See, now it's not lagging anymore.
Coming along nicely there, Floki. Good, strong roots.
That might be worth a look.
But she never replied. And she was counting out the words. What's this?
You three have been just guzzling the water recently. Save some for the others, all right? Footprints on the tabletop. You haven't been poking around the bookshelves again, have you, Bad soil? Don't tell Mother.
Don't tell Mother what? Where's this pin? Mushroom soup? Oh my god.
Wish I had a bag of holding.
I mean, it is Jaheira's.
Oh, come on, Ferdinand. I just trimmed you.
A fine day to you, sir. Are you known to this court? Crude manners, but you speak well enough. For
It just kind of starts fucking lagging. For a peasant.
Jessim discovered an old family tree in my study. We haven't had a moment's peace since.
Tetherian nobility. You might be royalty, Jaheira. You don't want to be queen, of course, and Ryon curses too much, so it would have to be me.
Just for that little animation to not lag is perfect timing.
Careful, girl. They have a habit of taking against tyrants there.
I'm not a tyrant. If anyone calls me one, I'll have Fig chop their head off.
Directly describes a tyrant. That's what my sister would do. That's exactly how she would respond. Oh, key to the back door. Why is it lagging again? Oh. Is this Jaheira's room? Who's Tate?
I hope you were hibernating, little cub. I can't think of another reason you wouldn't come down to say hello.
Jaheira! I didn't want to see if you were really dead. They said...
Who said?
Jord and Ryan. They didn't think I could hear.
You little sneak thief? Well, they were wrong. Look! Not dead. I just... had a few adventures. Like,
Moonrise. Like the place from your stories, Jaheira.
the very same. We can give that one a happy ending after all. Now, cub. Solitude is a wonderful thing, but not too much. Come downstairs and fight with your sisters.
Wait. Here.
Is this the pin?
Keeping this safe.
My Harper pin. Oh, was a certain little sneak thief playing down in my sanctuary?
No.
This Harper pin opens more doors than most. Come down to my study and see if you can figure it out.
I don't think so. That's because there's not. Wait.
Those leaves are a bit darker than I'd like for you.
Ah, I wondered if it would take you long to spot.
I'm like, shush. Alright, this should run a lot better. Oh, what's that? What is this? Are these wards?
Pay no mind to those. You're probably safe so long as I am here. But if you do not trust me, take the weight from the pressure plate there.
So as long as she's here, I won't get hurt by the wards?
Have no fear. The traps aren't meant for you.
Wow.
Better to stick close, eh? The only patch of wilderness this city permits me. There ought to be supplies here to aid us.
Wow.
This place, Boo. Minsk.
Wow. This is so cool.
Very well.
Here's a little
Archdruid's eyes and ears have fallen away in her absence. I'm training new ones.
She's an archdruid of this town. Oh my goodness. Oh.
Watch how you go. There's a trap.
Keen eye. But if it's supplies you seek, weapons to aid in our fight, you won't find them behind that door. There is nothing back there of worth to anyone but me. On my word, all you will find inside is dust. And the moldering keepsakes of a much younger woman.
Jahira, our friend has put their trust in us.
Oh.
Who thinks it is only right to return the gesture, no?
You so rarely make a habit of being right, Ranger, that it puts me ill at ease when you are. Pass then. Go on. See what it is a foolish old Harper thinks worth hiding away.
Tell me, now that you have met Jahira's children, it is not unpleasant to see her on the rough side of someone's tongue, hmm? No, Boo, you will not tell her. She said nothing. We will not speak of this again.
What the hell? Okay. Fucking hell. I want to know if she, like, has anything cool, like, specifically for her. Aww. She was married. Yeah, I want to see.
Can't keep me out.
Oh, you. Come on. Really? I don't have many of these. What the hell? One more. Ah, that was the last one. Woo. What's in here? You're such a liar. Why can't I send it to her?
Aha! Jahira's old weapons. They look strong as ever. Minsk should know. They gave him many bruises over the years.
Oh.
A gift from my husband. I've had to renew parts over the years, but the heart remains the same as the day he gave it to me.
Rite of the Timeless Body. What's that about? I'd best ask Jahira.
What is it, cub? The threat of spanking never kept the children from poking through my things. Why should it deter you? It is a ritual, or it describes one at least, practiced by druids of certain esoteric circles. If they be learned and powerful enough, the practitioner of this ritual might slow their aging, extend their life well beyond its natural reach. It is not something you need concern yourself with. I've picked up stranger things in all my travels. Trust me. If you wish, it's possible I was a little too quick to judge. A little too caught up in ceremony. It is a ritual, or if they be learned, then it is not something you need concern yourself with. I have given you much reason to think that Harpers hoard secrets like precious stones, but I promise you, this was not some intrigue. Just, plain and simple foolishness. As if by keeping clear of my family, I might keep them clear of the cult in turn. And if this fight were to go against us, well, we had already done their mourning. Why visit it on them twice?
Hmm.
Of course I was. You met her, did you not?
Sunny,
The girl
what are you
with the
doing?
opinions
Get out of
before she
there.
had teeth. I was wrong to think I could keep my children from this fight. They're Baldurian born and bred. The only damned reason I root myself in this place. This city is a cesspit. An open sewer of the soul that taints us with its filth and churns us out when all that is good has been stripped away. It also happens to be their home. And so it is mine. Ugh. That might be the first time I have said that out loud. Now come. We had best get to saving it. Lest Ryan turn her ire on us both.
True.
holy place stinks of incense and blood.
I bring word of gnomes. Gnomes in the sea.
No.
Down by the Blushing Mermaid, there's a stink of something fey.
Oh, yeah, we already fixed that. Alright. Dude. These are so cool. She's so smart.
Good, strong roots.
Or drunk in a tavern.
Here we go.
Gutting fish.
No arguing. And Minsk?
Who is...
And I hear... So,
I'm not full enough to...
really? Like what?
You shame me. In all our hunting, I had put them from my mind.
Right. Leave them to us then. If we can't get them past the checkpoints, we'll at least make sure they're watched over if it comes to fighting in the streets. If I have to stay home and babysit, then it's your job to take what you need, and we'll do the grand reunion when you come back for good. So, love...
Aye, aye, Commander. Wait, one more thing. There are doppelgangers on our... That's my girl.
I find it funny that Jaheira is kind of like a mama bear. Maybe it's the panther thing, right? Like, she calls them her cubs, but she's like kind of more ferocious. Jaheira, can you unlock this? Don't you have a key? What? A natural one? Jeez. Even when you're guaranteed, you get a natural one. Black. Okay. Letter to Ryan.
Coming along nicely there, Floki. Good, strong roots.
Okay. Alright, that's probably where I'm gonna end that there. I'm not sure if I'll stream again soon. What's this? Let her go? yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I don't know when the next time I'm gonna stream is. If I do, thinking about working on videos again, we'll see. But no promises, because the girl's still trying to get a job first before I start like doing a bunch of random shit. So I'll see you guys later.